There's a question.
Is there any way to retrieve any of
Who's your question
to you?
to me?
Yeah.
All right.
Is there any way to retrieve any of the remains of any of those tombstones that were, thrown into the Arinj River?
Voynetsov կարելի է փրկել այդ մնացած բեկորները, որոնք նետված են արաքսքետի։
Չգիտեմ, դա շատ դժվարին խնդիր է, ասեմ ձեզ նաև Ադրբեջանը մշտապես արգելքներ է հարուցում միջազգային կազմակերպությունների առջև ՅՈՒՆԵՍԿՕ-ի Եվրոմիության Հիշեցման կարգով նշեմ, որ 2002 թվականին ՅՈՒՆԵՍԿՕ-ի հրավերով ես մեկ շաբաթ աշխատել եմ էքսպերտների հետ 3 անձնավորություն պետք է Նախիջևան եւ Ջուղամեկնեին, սակայն այդպես չեղավ։ Դրանից հետո մի քանի անգամներ անձնաժողովներ են ստեղծվել, այդ թվում նաեւ Եվրոմիության կողմից այս տարի եւս պետք է գնար անգլիացի սպիկերներից մեկը պարլամենտի անդամներից ընդամենը 2 ամիս առաջ դարձյալ արգելեցին, այնպես որ այդ երիտասարդ ուսանողը ափսոս գնաց, ուզում է ասել, որ Ադրբեջանը մշտապես հաշվի չի առնում միջազգային ոչ մի կարծիքի հետ, միջազգային ոչ մի կառույցի հետ, կեղծիքը ուղղակի այնքան շատ է այդ պետության կողմից, որ մարդ զարմանում է։ Պատկերացրեք հազարավոր հուշարձաններ, ջուղային խաչքարերը, մանավանդ վիդեոյով 1.5 ժամ այդ ընթացքը նկարահանված կա, ՅՈՒՆԵՍԿՕ-ի սեղանի վրա դրված կան բազմաթիվ լուսանկարներ, փաստեր, դարձյալ ՅՈՒՆԵՍԿՕ-ն ոչինչ չի կարողանում ձեռնարկել։ Պատկերացնում
եք։ Basically, there have been very numerous attempts by British parliamentary organizations, by the European Union, by various committees to visit Azerbaijan, to visit these sites, to see what is happening and to do something about them. UNESCO has had the pictures placed on their desks. There have been 1.5-hour films taken showing the actual destruction in progress. None of this has led to any result whatsoever because the Azerbaijan authorities have presented insurmountable and constant obstacles. Professor Ayvazian said he regrets the fact that this student from Azerbaijan didn't remain here after his statement because he might have wished to discuss why it is that there is absolutely no international organization at all whose opinion Azerbaijan respects.
You have to go to a party.
I actually disagree that Azerbaijan did respect UNESCO. When Azerbaijan had the construction of the graveyard took 3 stages. 1998 started. Then the destruction was reported in international media. Reports were sent to UNESCO. Azerbaijan stopped the destruction. The same thing happened several years later. Started the destruction was reported, reports sent to UNESCO, destruction stopped. But at the end of both those occasions, UNESCO did absolutely nothing. So it's not that Azerbaijan had no respect for UNESCO. Azerbaijan actually did have, because they expected UNESCO to do something when they got the reports. That's why they stopped. But after the third occasion, after the second occasion, Azerbaijan got wise to the situation and realised that UNESCO was going to do nothing, so they might as well finish what they started, and they destroyed the graveyard at the end of 2005. And again, UNESCO did nothing, as in 2 other occasions.
Can you explain why the destruction of the Khachkars is final? I think the question was, can they be retrieved?
Well, I imagine, I remember when in Iran, when the American embassy was stormed and the Americans were shredding lots of documents, and then the Iranians over like 20 years pieced together all the shredded documents from all the little fragments. So I presume you could almost do the same thing with all the fragments of the Khachkars. If somebody wanted to spend their lifetime doing it, you might be able to if you could locate where the stones were dumped. The videos show trucks dumping the stones down the sides of the embankment of the railway track. So that's where a lot of them have ended up. And then maybe every gravestone is broken into maybe 20 or 30 pieces. So theoretically it would be possible to do it, but practically it's very unlikely.
Next question, sir in the middle. Yeah. No, to your right, there were, yes, you first. If you,
Professor Sin, first of all, I have difficulty with your accent.
Yeah, sorry. I'm also not. I say also not a professor. I don't know where that came from.
We might be able to get through to it. But, instead of waiting for the smiling Mr. Matsuro to leave, do you have any sense of action from the ground level that could be developed to begin to put pressure on UNESCO? I'll give you one example. There is an
although I have a lot of respect for the people that went to UNESCO, the delegation, they spent a lot of time and money and effort putting together the delegation, getting everybody together, but they were very differential towards UNESCO. They went to the British face would be cap in hand, almost grovelling on their knees to go in to see this great Director General, when actually we should have gone there to demand that UNESCO did something and to make UNESCO make a timetable to say, right, we're coming back here in 6 weeks or 6 months, we want to see what you've done in that time. But unfortunately, that wasn't the attitude that the delegation took. The only person who really pushed Matsuro hard was Jim Kagrianis, the Canadian MP. The rest were far too differential. What could you do? Sit outside UNESCO's headquarters in Paris and throw rotten tomatoes at anybody who goes in and come out? Something like that. There has to be some direct action, because the normal procedures are obviously not working.
Okay, next.
May I just make
Yeah,
a
sure.
comment, Professor Russell?
Yeah.
There's such rich material that was shown to us here tonight. Unfortunately, it has an academic peculiarity, and what it needs is some excising for propaganda purposes, so that we can work at community levels where people who might not have the patience of the people who are here, or some of your students would have. If that could be put together, then, in spite of Professor Ayvazian's point about science, there's a political side to this, obviously, and if we could just put together, out of that totality, a video or a CD that we could take to various communities through different organizations, we might begin to build up a little momentum at the groundwork level. Yes.
Question is, momentum to do what now that everything's
Put
destroyed?
pressure on UNESCO
To do what?
to get into Azerbaijan
And then?
and Nakhichevan and to make their official report.
I guess that's all there is now.
Yeah, well, there's a political aspect to this, in that the actions of Azerbaijan reflect the attitudes of Azerbaijan towards Armenia and towards Armenians in general. I mean, the Jofas graveyard wasn't some place in the middle of a city. It was in the middle of nowhere, and the last person who died there was 17th century, around about 1605, I think, was it, when the place was destroyed by the Persians. So that's the last person who died, was buried there. And so it's not something that a normal society would be obsessed with, but Azerbaijan is. It's obsessed with destroying, wiping every last trace of Armenian culture in its land. And what Azerbaijan did to the Kashgars, did to inanimate objects in Nakhichevan, you can be pretty certain they will do to living people in Nagorno-Karabakh if they've got the chance. So that's the political aspect to it. So that's why it's important that it's on record that this is what Azerbaijan has done. Regardless of whether the monuments are destroyed and they can't be recreated, it could stop future genocides.
Next question, please, Madam.
questions. Honestly, I don't know where to start. The one is that you say, what can you do now? Because it's done. It's over. But it's not over. Because those stones were sacred. It's like you can say, well, somebody's dead, and so it's all over. But those bones are sacred. I mean, people lived and they died. It's history. Okay. So we can challenge and we can demand that those sacred stones are precious to us, to humanity.
To do what?
To retrieve maybe those things that are in where they've been discarded. Or the other thing is another question I've got.
To whom?
About UNESCO. Whoever can answer it, I don't know. Either one of you, please.
Give the
So that I
question.
will understand how UNESCO works. Are people appointed to their position? And how long is the tenure for each people? For instance, how long are they going to sit in that
I
position?
think it's 3 years. Certainly, Mansour has been in that position for 3 terms of office. And so if he started in 1998, maybe it's 4 years, something like that. But he is appointed by a council of fellow members. I mean, UNESCO is like United Nations. Every member's got a vote. So,
What countries are represented in UNESCO?
well, everybody almost. Azerbaijan's there, Armenia's there, Turkey's there. But it's more like a club, it's like a big social club rather than anything really to do with cultural protection. That's why so many countries want their sites to be recognized as monuments, as international monuments, because there's a sort of prestige to it. So it's just a kind of a club for civilized countries.
Okay. Can we now, Matt?
Yes, my question is, Mr. Ayvazian, why is it that, maybe հայերենով ասեմ, ինչպես կլա, որ Նախիջևանը հայկական հողամաս է, եւ այդքան ուշացաններ ունի Հայաստան, ներկա Հայաստանեն շատ ավելի, ինչպես կլա, որ 95 առ 100-ը հանցած է ազերբայջանցի եւ հայ չէ մնացած։ Արդյոք մենք ենք հանցավորը ասոր։ I can translate this in English. I'm asking, Nakhichevan is an Armenian territory. Yes, it was given to Azerbaijan, but why is it that 95% of the population has turned Azerbaijani? And in an indirect way, are we responsible for what happened?
Շնորհակալություն, նախորդ հարցի պատասխանը ես դիքնոջ մինչև վերջ չպատասխանեցի, ես պատասխանեմ հետո։ Այդ կտորները, որոնք մնացել են ջուվայի խաչքարերից, դրանք արդեն խաչակարեր են, նրանք վերականգնել անհնար է, ետ ստանալ դարձյալ անհնար է։ Միակ բանը, որ ես մտածում եմ, հետևյալն է, հույսը դնել միջազգային կազմակերպությունների վրա, այդ թվում նախ եւ առաջ ՅՈՒՆԵՍԿՕ-ի դարձյալ անիմաստ է, որովհետեւ ես երկար տարիներ աշխատել եմ հուշարձանների պահպանության բնագավառում, սովետական իշխանության տարիներին աշխատակցել եմ ՅՈՒՆԵՍԿՕ-ի հետ, գիտեմ նրա գործունեության ուժը, ծավալը, այս տարիներն էլ ապացուցում են, որ անզոր կազմակերպություն է միջազգային ՅՈՒՆԵՍԿՕ-ն, որը չի կարողանում իր պարտականությունները կատարել։
All right. This is an answer to your question, which is that nothing can be done now. The monuments have been destroyed, and the khachkars cannot be repaired. 1. 2. This is Professor Ayvazian's opinion. 2. UNESCO is a useless organization, and it is a waste of energy to appeal to them. Professor Ayvazian already has experience from the Soviet period in dealing with this organization, and that it would seem to be a fruitless endeavor to deal with them as an international body that would be capable or interested in solving the problem.